All right, welcome to the worst. Chad Austin. Feeling a little rushed today, and this is no one's fault but mine. I came by here last week at some point, and I was like, "Hey, Mike, schedule me for 4:30 on Wednesday." Not even thinking about the fact that I actually get off of work at 4:30. Tried calling in one person, being like, "Hey, come in at 4 so I can leave." And they're like, "Oh yeah, no problem." But then, I realized, well, Chad, you do two jobs. You got the manager part covered, but you don't have the bartender part covered. I thought to myself, oh, it's 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. It'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. So it's 4:05. I'm just about to leave, and two guys sit down at the bar. And I thought to myself, still be fine. They're coming in to grab a beer and some food. I could probably just get the other manager to take care of that, right? They sit down, I hand them menus, and they go, "You're Chad, right?" I was like, fuck. And they, "Yep, I'm Chad." And like, "Hey, we came here to try your cocktails." And I was like, well, motherfucker. And I want to say that nothing against these guys. They were great guys. Enjoyed talking to them. They actually have their own podcast called Noise Extra. It's a podcast about noise music, and they're really cool dudes. And it was nice of them to stop in and see me. It was just horrible timing because I was needing to get here. And here I am, 20 minutes late. And I know that Mr. Rappaport has a show right after me, so I can't go overtime. And but that's also pretty fucking cool. Michael Rappaport's going to be sitting in his chair right after me. And I made a joke. I made a joke to my buddy about how I think that the engineer is probably going to go deaf in about an hour because all that dude does is scream. So good luck to you, sir. But yeah, man, it's been a weird week. It's been a long week. It's been a week of dealing with just insufferable people. Like really fucking just. And the thing is, some of these people work with me. And I could just say that because they absolutely know who they are. Oh, by the way, I'm not drinking coffee right now. I'm drinking mushroom elixir. And I guess it's all the new rage in LA that people are replacing their coffee with mushrooms. And somebody handed me one of these on my way out the door. And I was like, fuck it. I could always use caffeine. Let's try it. Well, that's not going to replace coffee for me, but it's not bad. Slight bit of dirt, sugar, oat milk. Let's go. Hopefully it does the job, though. Last week, I had what I would call the hat trick from hell. In one day, I pissed, came, and shit blood. And, I've had a couple people tell me I should go see a doctor, but I'm under the impression that, if it's one time, don't drop the dime. If you piss blood twice, your life's not going to be nice. So we're just going to wait for it to happen a second time before I go see anybody about this. It seemed like a fluke occurrence. I'm doing fine now. And life's not too bad. I am stalling at the moment because I'm trying to find my notes. Okay. There's a few things that I wanted to talk about today. One of them being the fact that I never in my life thought that Alec Baldwin would have a bigger body count than I do. One day I just thought that, there might be one of those accidental murders. I might have a Gabby Petito situation, right? Like I'm in the van with somebody for 5 months and I just can't deal with their shit anymore and I kill them. But I never thought that I'd wake up and find out that fucking Alec Baldwin straight shot somebody. And I know it's a really fucked up situation. And he, from everything I've read and actually a few people in the industry I've talked to, completely not his fault. I also find it to be funny that, dude, well, it's not funny that somebody died, but somebody died and another person got, like, he shot somebody through somebody. And he is now trying to change the narrative because, unfortunately, I get a lot of my news from TMZ because it's the most fun news to read. I don't like to look at real news. You know, you're not going to find me, scrolling CNN or, Daily Mail or Breitbart or, where people get real news. You're going to find me on like TMZ and, E! Online and all that kind of shit, because it's just I want the silly stuff. I want the stuff that doesn't matter whatsoever except for within that day, and most of the time it doesn't even matter within that day. It's just funnier to read. So I couldn't give you any talking points on anything going on in the Middle East or North Korea or actually in politics, even in our great United States. I know who our president is. But that's about it. That's as far as I go. I used to be different. I used to work for a presidential campaign a long time ago. But, that slowly changed. Stopped really giving a fuck about that. But what I was saying was Alec Baldwin, the most recent thing that... And it's funny, too, because it's one of those articles. You know how sometimes when something bad happens, a news site will... like they'll just keep the same article and they'll just keep posting update. So it starts off with an article about him shooting that woman on set. And it's terrible, right? And then it goes update. Alec Baldwin's cat is missing. What? How is that an update? How is shooting somebody on the set of your movie because you didn't go through the proper procedures of checking a gun, update to your cat's missing? And the only thing that I can think about for that is it was the husband of the woman he shot that stole his cat. That's the only way you can really merge the two, right? And consider that an update on the Alec Baldwin situation, is that if the cat was stolen by the angry husband who's trying to avenge his wife. Now, it doesn't make sense, but we're going to go with it, right? Now, okay, so Alec Baldwin has already shot somebody. What if this moment where his cat is missing and maybe ends up dead brings Alec Baldwin into a John Wick situation? And then he's just popping caps on people left and right because he's so angry that his little cat is dead. And I mean, it's very far-fetched and it's completely untrue, because I actually have another update from that news story right here where the cat was found, but its leg was broken. Now, could it be the husband? Possibly. Could the cat have just been having one hell of a night? Possibly. But we'll never know. But also, it was a great way to take my mind off of him shooting somebody, because I really like cats, and I'm just happy to know that his cat made it home. Alec, why fucking bullshit? God damn it. Oh yeah, by the way, his cat's name is Emilio. I mean, I like it when animals have human names. Animals and human names are my favorite. I think every animal I've had that I've actually named always has had a human name. Except for one dog. I had a dog when I was a little kid and I named it Pepper because it was black. Which, if you think about it, is probably the safest name to name something. To name a pet when they're black is Pepper. You can go really, really bad with that. Mushroom elixir, baby. All right. So this is something that I don't know if it really bothers. There's a part of this story that bothers me. And there's a couple parts of the story that bother me. One of the things is the headline from TMZ, which is LGBTQ org is okay with performance from DaBaby. So basically they're saying that for DaBaby to be able to come back out on a stage, which was, I think, recently at Rolling Loud, New York, he had to get a cosign from them for it to be okay, which is wild that like there is so much stopping power. And it's one of those things where it's like, complain about being oppressed, but also have probably one of the most enormous stopping powers in the industry. Like, you can shut somebody down until you say it's okay for them to do something again, to a certain point. Because then comes Dave Chappelle, which I've talked about this for like the last couple weeks, but it's really been an ongoing thing with this whole Dave Chappelle's new special. And like the kind of battle that they've been having back and forth with, you know, people not getting it, not just flat out not liking it, being upset about it. And I'm all for, you know, everybody having their own feelings. That's great. But Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, the stomping's back. I've told you guys about this before. There is some kind of like Zumba class or something that happens above me. And it's like Barry's boot camp up there. You're not going to be able to hear it, but I sure as hell can. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. So Chappelle. So he, I mean, just to go back, he does the special. There's people upset. You know, the second half of the special is basically like, you know, y'all tripping. I have a trans friend. I had a trans friend. She's dead. Listen to the whole story. It's a great story. Dave is one of the best storytellers that ever fucking was in comedy. And then Ted Sarandos comes out and says, you know, I'm okay with what happened. You know, I back Dave Chappelle. Netflix employees lose their mind. Stage a walkout. Hannah Gadsby, Australian comedian, gets involved and is like, oh, you know, Dave Chappelle's narrow-minded, blah, blah, blah. You know, Ted Sarandos, you don't pay me nearly enough to have to deal with like the hate that I'm getting, that I can be, you know, receiving because of this special, blah, 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 which is a funny line to say. Because if you look at her written statement, it really does say that, like, I don't get paid nearly enough for this. So there is a price you're willing to take to get some hate, right? Like, I mean, I think I would take death threats for a certain amount of money. It's fine. You know, I think everyone's like that. It's, there's a certain level of comfort that comes with a certain level of money. And maybe, you know, they say money doesn't buy happiness, but also I feel like the people that say that have never been really, really poor, because I feel like I could be pretty damn happy with money. But also, you know, I'm going to go on another tangent really quick and say that Dave Chappelle also a little out of touch. If you look at his body of work over like COVID, like one of his things is like a 10-minute clip, like a 10-minute special that he put out where he's talking about how Comedy Central didn't pay him his money for the Chappelle show. Which, you know, it's kind of wild, like that. Yeah, and I totally understand, dude. Get your money, but you enlisted like your fans and the people to fucking protest. You know, not watch the Chappelle show on Netflix or HBO Now or Max or whatever the fuck it's called until you get paid. And people did it, and then you got paid, and it's wild because there was like so many of us just sitting at home hoping for the next unemployment check. And I mean, you are doing fine. You are doing fine, but you know, you got our help to make, you know what, an extra 20 mil. That's cool, bro. So there's just like that little bit of out of touch where he's just like, I'm struggling to get this, but you get to a point where you have all you need. But also at the same time, I can't tell somebody that they have all they need. It's really weird because everyone's needs are different, right? And I guess as you get more and more rich, your needs become greater than what they were before. I just don't see myself needing more than, a couple $1 million. And, you have multiples of those. But like I said, I could become addicted to buying Ferraris and hookers when I get rich. And then I need a couple more multi-millions of dollars. And life goes on in that string of events until you die. Anyways, Netflix employees staged a walkout. And it was last Monday or the Monday before. It was on a Monday. Hit them where it hurts. The Monday work day, right? So they staged this walkout. And the shitty thing is I wish I could find this video, but I can't find this video. I looked for it for like an hour before I came here. I found certain parts of it, and maybe we'll put those parts in. But the specific part that actually made me really angry is I couldn't find it on any of these videos. But I've seen it. Just can't find it again. So they're out there protesting. They say some wild ass shit. It's a team trans, and it's fine, dude. I love trans people. You're all great. We're homies, dude. But then there's like somebody talking about how trans people are going through a Holocaust right now, and I'm just like, what the fuck? No, you're not. And then there's two gentlemen, believe LA comics, who show up as counter protesters. Now, I enjoy these gentlemen because honestly, if I knew that the walkout was happening, or if I had the day off or whatever it may be, feels like something I would do, because I get to say how I feel, but I also get to troll a big group of people. And it's fun to do that sometimes. A lot of the time I do it a lot. And these guys showed up with their own signs. One of them said, "We love Dave." And the other one said, "Jokes are funny," which were solid signs to have at this, because you don't want to go the route of hate, right? Because if these people showed up with hateful signs, I wouldn't be on their side. I wouldn't have anything to do with their side. That's fucked up. These people are, out there, doing their thing, protesting, and there is always room for a counter protest. This is fucking America, right? We can talk about whatever we want. We can protest whatever we want. These guys just show up with signs that say comedy is funny, jokes are funny, Dave is funny, we like Dave. And, they do their own chant, jokes are funny, and it starts upsetting the people that are there. I personally am on their side. I think jokes are funny. I think that you should and can be able to joke about everything if you do it right. Dave, in my opinion, does it right. He has a certain style. He has a certain style to him where he has thought of every little exit and picks the right one to land the punchline, while also in his later years giving you his philosophy and words of wisdom and things like that. And if you don't spend too much time feeling hostile about everything else that he's saying, and actually, kind of take in, his way of thinking, then it really doesn't come off harsh. It just comes off as a joke, because it's a joke. So I'm 100% on these guys' sides when they say jokes are funny and Dave is funny. What happens to these guys at this thing is the part that really bothers me. At one point, the one guy with the sign that says, I believe it's the one that says jokes are funny, he gets surrounded. There is a guy who was confirmed as a writer from Netflix, grabs his sign and snaps it in half, throwing the sign part on the ground and then leaving the dude holding the stick. And then immediately after breaking this guy's sign, starts screaming, He has a weapon. He has a weapon. Dude, when I saw that, I was shocked. Like, I had to stop for a second and just be like, dude, this is insane. The mindset of a victim is so deeply ingrained that you have to find new ways to make yourself a victim in a time that you were attacking somebody. And it was just fucking mind-blowing to watch. And please, if you can find it, maybe I can find it later and, like, I don't know, post it in, like, I don't know. But if you can find it, it's fucking wild to see that, like, it's just such an era of, like, we live in such an era of victims where no one owns up to their own shit, and everyone feels like they're being oppressed by somebody or discriminated by somebody or this, that, and the other, when it could just be you could just be having fun and interacting with people and sharing ideas and thoughts. But instead, you're putting yourself in this bubble where the only people around you are the ones that think like you, and everybody else is not allowed to have an opinion because it's not yours. And that probably bothers me even more than the whole, like, he has a weapon victim thing. Is you're out there protesting for something you believe in. These guys came to protest for something they believe in. And sure, they were probably trying to get under your skin a little bit. But why'd you let them? You were out there to do your thing. Why did you let what they wanted to do ruin your time? I agree with them. Jokes are funny. But I also agree with you that your life matters. And I'm sorry that you found these jokes to be hateful or transphobic or whatever they may be. But it's really something that it shouldn't be, like, something that ruins your day or, you know, makes it, because at the end of the day, it's comedy. It's a joke. Go deal with somebody who's doing something that's actually bad. Somebody that's actually hurt. If you find somebody that's actually hurting you or your people or whatever, I'll help. I'll protest the shit out of that. It's just, I just find it like we're, you know, running in circles being mad at each other for no reason. And it's insane to me. And, I just went blank again. I was on a good one for a second, but it's okay. So, like, watch that video. I'm going to try to get it, but watch it. It's wild to watch that people did this and acted this way. Let's see here. I have a bone to pick with, and I have a couple other things, but I'm probably going to have to save them because, you know, there's like 15 minutes left, and I feel like I can spend at least 15 minutes on what I'm going to talk about now. And I have a bone to pick with Alanis Morissette. The other day, I was listening to Spotify, and it was like 90s alternative. Because usually when I have my kid in the car, I don't really, I personally, I'm a big rap guy. But my kid doesn't really care for rap, and most of the language in rap is not for her. She's 11. And I'm a pretty cool dad, but I still like to shelter her from some shit. Like, I don't need her to hear, you know, all of that. You know, like split open ass cheeks and hitting it from the back and whatnot. It's not for an 11-year-old child. At least 11-year-old girl. Is that sexist? Maybe. Still, just mean it. I fully mean it. She doesn't need to see it or hear it. So I have on this 90s station, right? And Ironic by Alanis Morissette comes on. And now that I'm older, and I'm listening to this song for the first time in a very long time, and realizing that, like, this song played so much when I was, you know, in my like preteens, early teens. This song played so much that like the lyrics were like burned into my brain, because as soon as the song started, I just knew it. And as I'm singing along with it, I'm realizing like this song isn't like very ironic, don't you think? And most of these things are just like really just shit luck. And I mean the definition of irony, right, is, you know, when something doesn't go the way that you had planned it, but there's a way to find like a wry sense of humor in it. You know, and I mean, first line is, an old man turned 98. He won the lottery and died the next day. Now, I don't find that ironic. That's a 98-year-old man. That's a 98-year-old man that has had a crippling gambling addiction his whole life. If you're 98, most likely you're not doing so well already. You're not, I mean, my grandparents didn't even make it past like 85. But I know that they weren't driving themselves to stores. They, you know, a couple of them, you know, a couple people were, you know, bedridden. It was, you know, you're struggling to survive at that point. So 98, there's not that many people that are really, you know, fully like spry. You know, there's like Betty White, but she's a fucking freak of nature. That is she, and you know what? To be honest, she's really not, because she's 98 now. And no one's really seen her out doing anything for like a couple years. We know that she's still alive. Think so. She's still alive? I don't know. I'm pretty sure Betty White's still alive, but we haven't seen her out. You know why? Because she's struggling now. Because she's 98 years old. So it's a 98-year-old with a crippling gambling addiction, who it's so important to him to play his fucking lottery tickets that he still somehow makes it to the store to buy them every day. And him winning and dying the next day is just shit luck and old age. It's shit luck and old age. It's not irony. A black fly in your Chardonnay, shit luck. There's nothing ironic about that. A death row pardon 2 minutes too late. Are you fucking kidding me, lady? Ironic? The man died. There's no one like, you think his family who just had to watch him be electrocuted is just like, oh man, is that the paper? Are you fucking kidding me? Those are the papers? Look at him over there. He's fucking sizzling still. He would have been free. He was pardoned. No one's laughing at that. You're fucking nuts. Also, before I get into more of these lyrics, I was watching after I started, and I've been thinking about this for days. And it's weird too, because like there's so many more important things that are going on in my life that I should be thinking about, but I've been thinking about Alanis Morissette's Ironic. Like obsessively. And it's a sickness. So I watched a music video, right? And I remember it from when I was younger. It's for Alanis Morissette's in a car, and she basically is she's James McAvoy in Split, except for she doesn't have the Beast character. There's like a childish one. There's one that has braids like she's Coolio, and there's one that seems like a little bit of a schizo. But I swear to God, there's one scene where the one in the back seat wearing the green sweatshirt does that same move that Uncle Donnie Trump does when he's making fun of the retarded journalist, where he does this thing right and with the hand. Like, she is totally freaking out, and I think that Donald Trump stole that move from Alanis Morissette. Back to the lyrics. So yeah, death row pardon, isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Okay, so it's like rain on your wedding day. Now, once again, yeah, dude, bad situation, but not one that you're going to find humor in. It's not like, I went through a wedding, and I honestly would have preferred rain, because when I got married, it was 115 degrees in Palm Springs, and I set that whole thing up myself. Every fucking table, every fucking chair, I did it all by myself, because my goddamn groomsmen were nowhere to be found until like an hour before the wedding. And I had no help. And I am pouring sweat and bright red, putting up the last decoration 5 minutes before my wife's about to walk down the aisle, and you could see it all over my face. Like, I am burnt. And you know, and luckily, like, our photographer was a full-on fucking dingbat and didn't know how to take photos, because there's like one good photo from that whole thing, so you really can't tell. But I would have preferred Ray-E-AINNN on my wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid. Okay, so this one I've been talking this over with my buddy from work. Shout out Tad, the Chad and Tad special. We've been talking about this one, a free ride when you've already paid. What does that mean? I don't understand how that works. What, like, it doesn't make any sense in any way I can think of a ride. So if you were to get, so this is the 90s, right? So there's no Ubers. So if you were to get a cab, you get in, you tell them the destination, and then they turn the meter on, and then you pay at the end based on how far you've gone or how long you've been in the car or whatever it may be. But you pay at the end. So you don't get that, like, you don't, it's not a free ride when you've already paid. You pay at the end. So that one's checked off. Go to a carnival. What you buy tickets for the rides before you even get up to the ride. So it's not like it's just some asshole taking tickets that you already paid for. If somebody was like, hey, I don't want your ticket, it's not even that bad. You could just use that ticket for a different ride. And then the other one would be like an amusement park. You pay to enter the place, and then all the rides are part of it, general admission. So that line makes no fucking sense. It just, I think she just needed something to, let's see. I mean, yeah, it doesn't even rhyme that well, but the next line, it's the good advice that you just didn't take. Well, that's life. People will give you advice all the time, and then you don't take it until you're ready to take it. And then hindsight's 20/20, my guy. Chill out. And then if you listen to the song, this next line, it has nothing to do with like this whole rant, but I just think it's funny how she says it. And she's like, it's a good advice that you just can't take. And who would have thought? And then instead of saying it figures, she says it figures. Now go listen to the song, because she says it figures, and it is hilarious and like one letter away from being a really racist word. And yeah, I enjoy it every time I listen to it. The next whole like stanza is about a guy that never flied in his entire life, and then decides one day that he's going to get on a plane and kiss his wife and kids goodbye. So, I mean, already right there, you're setting him up for failure. Like, you're really focusing on the fact that he is saying goodbye to his family. It's like, I'm never going to see you again. Like, you're focusing on that part. And then this actually happens to be the only one that, if it was to happen the way that she writes it, would be ironic, because he's afraid to fly. And then the plane crashed down, and then he thinks, well, isn't this nice? So that is that little wry humor at the end that turns this into irony, that he didn't fly his whole life, and then all of a sudden he's going down, and he's fucking as calm as a sniper in the middle of a fucking jungle, saying, well, isn't this nice? Let me tell you what, if you have been afraid to fly your entire fucking life, and you find out that the plane's going down, you're not going to sit there and just giggle to yourself and be like, isn't this nice? Unless you hate your family. Unless you hate your family, and then you were planning this the whole time. Maybe he did something to controls. Maybe he's wearing, what's it called? The thing, God, I can't. Parachute. Maybe he's wearing a parachute. Oh, I can't believe it took me. Maybe he's wearing a parachute. And he's faking his death. Dude, I'm reaching right now. He's faking his death, and he's going to start a new life. And it's now the man's going to be happy for the rest of his life. I got it. He's going to be happy because he doesn't have to see his shit kids or his wife anymore. All because he took that plane ride. Good for you. And then, it goes back into the chorus, rain, wedding day, free advice, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this last one, because then there's like a bridge where it's like life is a funny way of sneaking up on you when you think everything's okay and everything's going on, and that's fine. It's a bridge. It works with the the tone of the song and everything. Once again, all of these are just bad luck or just stupid. So traffic jam when you're already late. Live in LA. That's daily. If you don't leave your house 30 minutes before you think you should, you're in a traffic jam when it's already late. The people of LA live in an Alanis Morissette song every day of their fucking lives. New York too. And probably every major metropolitan city. It's that is a very standard thing. Most people don't do. I mean, I grew up with my grandfather telling me that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, don't even bother. And that has been stuck in my head since I was like fucking 8. I am at least 20, except for today. Except for today, I'm at least 20 minutes early to everything I do. Today, I have a legitimate excuse. I have a job. And what? A no smoking sign on your cigarette break. Move 5 feet to the right. Move 5 feet to the left. There's not a no smoking sign there. Enjoy your cigarette. Bam, dude. Alanis, I just fixed that for you. Have your smoke, dude. You can have your cigarette on your break and relax. Just walk the fuck away from the sign. Is it like 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife? This one, okay, no one has 10,000 spoons, first of all. But even if you just had a spoon, one spoon, and you need a knife, at least with the spoon, you can actually kind of, work it enough to where you could probably cut whatever you're trying to cut with that spoon. It takes a little bit longer. It's more frustrating, sure. But I think it would be worse to have a knife when you need a spoon. Imagine trying to eat cereal with a knife. Nah, man, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get one fucking puffed corn or marshmallow on that goddamn thing to stay by the time it gets to your mouth. It's going to fall off back into the bowl, dude. I would rather have the spoons. I don't need the knife. I can fucking kill you with a spoon, dude. I'm trained with a certain set of skills. No, I don't. And then, okay, spoons. Yeah, okay. It's like meeting the man of your dreams and then meeting his beautiful wife. I have problems with this one, Atlantis. I keep on calling her Atlantis, like it's like the lost city. Atlantis. No, that's wrong again. I'm mixing Atlanta and Atlantis. Okay, it's Alanis. There's no fucking T in there. I'm sorry. There's no T. Alanis Morissette. I have a problem with this one, Alanis. I think I did it again. Meeting the man of your dreams and then meeting his beautiful wife. The way that is worded makes it sound like you're at like a cocktail party and you're like, hi. And then you look over and you go, hi. So you're that fucking shallow that is just some hot ass dude and that's the man of your dreams. There was no conversation. You're just like, oh, and then this is your wife. And then you're just completely let down. That's a sack of shit, dude. You're a sack of shit, Atlantis. Atlanta. You're a sack of shit. You don't deserve that man. That woman has put in the time and shame on you. I believe I have to wrap up. Am I right about that? Okay. I believe I have to wrap up. I knew that this was going to take up the rest of the time. I'm sorry for being late. Another episode would be soon, and I have more topics to talk about, plus a couple of guests coming. Thank you for watching The Worst. Mazel tov. Peace. Bye.